New pod, first one in the studio in a while.
Yeah.
How's it feel to be back in your home spot?
Grumpy.
And why is there so much salt everywhere? Why don't you just break it?
Well, you see, we watched, Cat before we left for Hawaii. And that cat has semi-recently become... It is very unhappy with you right now.
So then what happened?
The cat has semi-recently become an indoor-outdoor cat. Outdoor being the key word there. And when that happens, typically... the animal's not prepared for the animals and bugs and insects of the outdoors. Well, I think that cat contracted fleas. And we returned that cat and then left for Hawaii. And came back to a house infested with fleas. I won't tell you how I found the fleas, but I found them in a very disturbing manner. And... Anyways, so, yeah, so then we bombed the house, and James read that, if you put salt on, carpeted and cloth areas, that you said that'll help kill the fleas. So we basically went out and bought salt and salted, the entire house, like we were about to do some sort of witch ritual or something, but, yeah, the salt vacuumed up nicely from the carpets, but it's still all over. It just keeps coming up in new places, and it's very frustrating and annoying. So bear with me as I complain about the salt. But yeah, that is why there's salt everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing whack-a-mole with the salt. You think you get it off a couch or something, and then it's all over.
Step 2 feet to the left, and then there's a bunch of salt right there.
It's really hard, but
You can't see
so, I mean, the good news is since we did that and the bug bombs, we've only seen, I believe, one flea. So that's a very good thing. And I will say that the salt, I guess it has to do with their nesting. Like they nest in rugs and stuff. So
I was down for just throwing out all the rugs.
no, but it worked, pretty
Yeah.
quick. And so hopefully it stays that way. But yeah. The thing is with both of us traveling together quite often for stuff, the house is, hopefully no thieves here, but vacant a lot. And sometimes you come back to who knows what. This time it was fleas, but it could be, in anything.
It's
You could
been real-
come home to a leak.
Condo living is just rough sometimes, sometimes it's nice if you get amenities and things like that in your complex. But other times, if you don't have the most amazing neighbors or cleanly neighbors, things are conjoined. Things can travel. And so, when the old man moved out downstairs and we saw how he had been living, first off, someone should have reported elder abuse for that man on himself, because that was disgusting. No person, no matter what age, should live like how he did. And so when they went in there to basically throw away all of the stuff he left behind, that sent all of the insects up the pipes, and so we had that cockroach infestation for a while, which was my least favorite of all of the infestations. I hate spiders, but I could deal with a spider. I could deal with any bug. But cockroaches, especially the little nasty ones,
Yeah, the roaches.
it's just like the epitome of uncleanliness.
I actually thought fruit flies kind of sucked too, but roaches are worse.
Yeah, well, so
Are you
that
just
was
gonna be hammering that gum?
I am gonna be, because I'm rotating between the gum and the pouches. But
Because of why? Why is that?
we'll get to that. Next came the fruit flies infestation. And that one was also not a fan favorite. But I did see a lot of people at the same time complaining about fruit flies in the neighborhood. So I don't know if our piping system was having an issue and they were coming from somewhere, but we were not the only ones to have fruit flies at that time, which was disturbing.
I guess that's good in a way.
Yeah, yeah. And then now came the flea infestation. Um, so it's very annoying because, like, you know, you make sure to, like, do all the dishes before you leave and take out all the trash cans, and basically you're just leaving your empty house, and you come back to, like, look like, you know, what's the cookie monster have been living in your house, you know, the blue guy who lives in a trash can.
I think his name's the Cookie Monster.
Cookie monster. Yeah, looks like he's been living in the house. So that is rough sometimes. But anyways, I'm smacking this gum here and going between this and my pouches over there because we decided, as in I decided right before going to Hawaii, to just up and quit vaping. So I had heard that there's quite a bit of sugar in vapes. Now, when I researched this, it is, lo and behold, there is no real sugars in vapes. It says there's artificial sugars, which are also bad for you, but I couldn't find for the life of me that it specified an amount. And in some instances, it just said something along the lines of like small, you know, amounts, like not noticeable. Now, I don't know how that can be true because when I quit vaping, I did not quit nicotine. And the symptoms that followed the quitting of vaping are identical to sugar addiction withdrawals. The headaches, brain fog was the biggest one. It just feels like there's a weight inside of your brain. Nausea a little bit. And then irritableness, of course, comes with it. And they all lined up to sugar withdrawals. Now, was it nicotine withdrawals? Because I was still using the nicotine pouches to replace it, to supplement with. So, there has to be a decent amount of sugar in them for you to go through those symptoms, especially how reliant I was on the vape. I mean, I slept with it like a little binky in my hands. And the sugar was the biggest thing. I could care less about the nicotine. You know, they're coming out with studies that it's good for you now, so in certain dosages per day. But the sugar, it's not good. You know, I bet you if you tested my blood sugar, who knows, I probably, as much as like it took a lot of caffeine to get me going during the day, and I would have hard crashes, you know, throughout the day. There's probably blood sugar spikes and drops. I could have potentially been pre-diabetic and not even known it because I don't go to the doctor. But I bet you if you tested my blood sugar at the time, it probably was not fantastic. So, yeah, I'm chewing this gum in order to curb the need for the nicotine. Not that I want to quit nicotine. Not that I want to. It's just expensive. And you go through them so quickly. But shout out to these Velos we found at the gas station. Because if I read that sign right, these were $2.99. Right?
I didn't read the sign.
Oh, geez, Martha. Well, I think the sign said $2.99. And the smooth Zins were $7 and change. That is insane. That's nuts. So, I'd say like $5 a can with these things. However, I go through them pretty quickly. So, ooh, they have deliveries. I love some Zen rewards, so might have to start to Google what the Velo rewards are. Let me just peel it back. Anyways, moving on in subjects. Those were my updates. Any updates for you before we move into the the potting subjects?
Well, I think you're doing good with your quitting of vaping. I think that's a very good decision. I think that, your diet has been quite good. You're making some good solid life changes, I think, and I'm supportive of that. Um, yeah, I mean, it's obviously good to be back. We were in Hawaii for 10 days. Are you just not focused at all on this pod?
But why is it called synthetic nicotine?
I don't know. Why don't you look this up after the show?
Okay, I can do that. Continued.
Well, like I said, it's good to be home for a little bit. Was in
3 days.
Yeah, for a few days, and Hawaii was nice. Got to vacation a little bit and hunt quite a bit as well, which was fun. The terrain is very tough. The animals are tough to hunt. We had a nice little engagement.
Yes.
It's pretty exciting.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I feel fantastic about that. Like, we've discussed, everybody asked the question, like, did you know? Was it a surprise? I had no idea. Your comments on, like, are you bringing all your, supplies? Because, like, sometimes for, like, pictures and stuff, I don't like to have my, like, grody fingernails in there. But, ironically, I did for that because I did not put them on. But you had asked that, and then, like, you had, like, picked a spot when we went up and scouted that day that you said you wanted to do the intro at. But I know how you love aesthetics and, like, good background, because we've hunted in places, with somewhat, like, similar backgrounds, and, like, you really liked that. And, so, like, that didn't make, any, like, didn't ring any bells that you wanted, like, a specific spot to do the intro for the video. And yeah, so, like, you went up and set up the camera, and I just started glassing. Like, I was like, well, I'm gonna look for some goats. And I think I even said, like, well, I'm not putting on my pants yet. This is too early in the hike. And so it was a complete surprise, but very nice, very nice. On the box, it had a light.
Yeah.
It had a light.
It didn't have a light.
Yeah. So that was great. It was good. Good job.
So you said yes.
Yes, I did.
But now you're making me return the ring.
Yeah. Well, you see, this is why men need to pay attention. They need to pay attention. I'm not out there about to be like, it's gotta be real or send it back. But that stuff's expensive. It's expensive. And, James got it from a place. I don't know, James, do you want to mention where you got it from, or...
Costco wholesale, baby. Yes.
It's a girl like that.
Costco. Well, it's practical.
Yeah.
Good price.
Luckily for...
Very nice exchange/return policy. Things didn't go well.
Yeah.
Come on, Hal. Up you go. Come on, Hal.
Anyways, I don't necessarily know this. I'm just presuming this. They're not a jeweler store, so I don't think that they size your ring for you there. I just think if it doesn't fit, that's why they have a return and exchange policy, because they're just going to exchange it for the proper size. So we're like, well, it doesn't fit, so we will have to do that anyways. And I just so happen you did a wonderful job. 99% of women do love white gold. It's very trendy. However, I am a more traditional person, you could say. So it's like, well, we could trade it out for the right size and just get it in gold. And then I was like, well, I'm a guess that this thing being from Costco, and I looked, they do not sell moissanite diamonds at Costco. They only sell, like, lab-grown or real. Which means it costs way too much money. At the end of the day, We don't need to spend that much money, especially when you're outdoor activist people. There's a high chance that you could break it, you could lose it, you could scratch it, the diamond could fall out. So what is the point of running around with an expensive diamond? That makes no sense to me. And we're grown adults who are paying for a wedding. So why not spend that money in your fun, your lit time, your memorable time? There are other type of gemstones in the world. So
I wonder if the YouTube audience would like. Maybe I'll do like a not like a Venmo QR if people want to toss in like a few bucks for the wedding. I'll crowdfund it. So if y'all are interested in crowdfunding a wedding, here's the deal. I have a lot of buddies, right? So it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be maybe possibly the biggest ever. Bezos' wedding was this weekend. Ours might be even bigger. It might be the owner of Amazon.
Oh.
Yeah. His will be just peanuts compared to ours.
Is that the old guy that's married to the really young girl?
There's a lot of those in the world, but no, they're comparable age.
Oh, okay.
His worth like $150 billion. That's the joke of it. Okay. Obvious. So,
yeah.
But if anyone's interested in throwing a few bucks towards the wedding, I will. This is the one time I will let people give me money to fund this wedding. So if you want to, it would help me pay less out of my pocket, which is what I'm looking for.
Well, I'm helping you with that by...
Can I pay for the wedding? Yes, I can. Would I prefer to pay less or ideally none for it? Yes. So if you own a wedding venue also, I am very open to doing it for some social media favors, and we can work on stuff. Same thing if you're a bartender. We have a need for a bartender. Different things. Anyone who can contribute in some way, the sucker is going to be held in California most likely. But reach out to the email, bodisciples@gmail.com if you have an inquiry or an idea. With that being said, it was exciting. Here's the deal. I knew I was going to do it. Okay. I knew I was going to do it in Hawaii. I did not know when I was going to do it. So then we go on the scouting trip with Andre, and I see that location, and I go, okay, this is very aesthetic. Great camera shot. If I set it up, it'll look good. She won't have any idea. It'll be relatively early in the hike. And then I go, I think we took the next day off after scouting, and then we were going to hunt Saturday. So I was like, I have two options. I either do it later in the trip or do it earlier in the trip. And I figured, like, just for me and my mindset, I'm like, I'll just do it now. Like, get it out of the way. Because it's a lot,
Yeah.
So I walk up there. I got my plan in place. I kind of have a few bars ready to go, And anyway, yeah, so I set up the camera. Your glass in. I haven't posted the full version of the video, but like you can see me stand there for a little bit and kind of
awkwardly
get it together. Then I tap you on the shoulder, and I had 3 or 4 bars, and about as soon as I said half a bar, I was crying. Because that I'm such a social sap.
Yeah.
An emotional sap. So I started losing it, and I haven't even reached my second line yet of or line.
It's so funny, which is why I think like the clip that you posted of it was such a banger, a hit, a slam. It did well.
Yeah.
It's because like everything about it is just like cute but goofy. Like, you were losing your bars immediately, and like I told you, it was truly a surprise. So I just thought you were going on this bit of like being slightly weird, like you're setting up like something for the intro of this video, and so you just see me like awkwardly fiddling with my stabilizer, and then like you just randomly turn away from me and face.
Well, I was trying to take a breath so I could not cry.
So then I awkwardly turned after you to also face. So then we're both just facing away from the camera, facing the ocean. I'm just like, what are we doing? So, like, you see my awkwardness in it, you see your awkwardness in it, like, it just made for this, like, very, I don't know, like, just very authentic moment. But that could be no truer than, you know, your goofy self.
Well, I mean, a lot of
But
it
it's a very great setting.
just so you know, a lot of
Oh, I heard a lot of ladies really enjoyed.
a lot of ladies are saying like, I can't wait for mine, or like, I need to find me one of them. Like, I'm kind of like really wanted by the single lady community right now. Just hilarious. How do you feel about that?
Well,
Do you feel pretty just blessed to have such a heartthrob?
I think most likely it's more so that they want a man who would do something like that. I don't necessarily think they're probably in there like, I want that man. It's not the comments I've seen, but whatever floats your boat, you feel better.
So, how do you feel about your engagement, you know, across like 4 platforms having like over 1 million views and so many comments? How do you feel about that?
I think it's
were you
cool
expecting were you expecting that sort of engagement from the clip?
definitely not that much. Especially just because it is not our lane of content. So I was not expecting. I'm not went far beyond the reach of like our normal reach. So that hit like a jet stream.
Well, I love a jet.
Of sorts of all platforms. So I think that was kind of cool. But not expecting that on it. But I think it's great. And, you know, if like that helps some people, you know, maybe reach out and be like, hey, I know this vendor.
Well, that's open, and I'm serious.
Location.
I probably will do like a Venmo QR or something like that, or if people want to contribute or I'll make like a fun way to do it.
We'll put it in your link tree.
Sure, it'll be kind of fun. Also, the fact that we have a broken panel on that wall, and the fact that you didn't paint behind the panels is...
Well, see here, hold on.
Is insane.
Hold on. So see here is, I hadn't planned on painting the wall yet.
Okay, that's a little bit better.
And so I put up the panels, and then this is the paint that came from the bathrooms. It was extra, left over. And so I decided to use that paint.
Oh, dude, if you would have put those up first with the intention of painting it, that would have been insane.
Yeah, I didn't have a paint color thought at first.
So anyways, the engagement was quite fun.
Yes.
Very fun. It has gotten a lot of airplay, which I mean, I expected it to do pretty well, but I did not expect it to do that well.
Yeah.
The full version, I don't know, maybe I'll put it in the hunting video or one of the videos from Hawaii, put the full clip in there.
Yeah.
Or land it somewhere at some point. It's kind of fun. But yeah, hunting was good. Shooting with Andre was good. Got back. You know, the goat hunt was tough. We talked about that more in the podcast with Andre, I believe. So if you haven't caught that one, you can listen to the prior.
Go back one episode.
Go back to the last one. And then got home. Let's see. I got home on Monday, I think, and didn't really do anything because it was late. Yesterday, actually finalized a deal with Gas Bowstrings. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Got my System X strings on. You're going to get yours on right after Montana.
So you know that they spelled, I double checked this because I thought that Ernest spelt it wrong in his share of this story.
Yes, without some of the letters.
And then when I put it on the thumbnail, I spelt it with the E. And then I was like, let me zoom in and double check this. So I zoom in and make sure. There's no E.
No.
It's just system.
System. It's kind of like avant-garde.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, so that was exciting. Got the strings on. Gonna go to Montana tomorrow for a few days. That'll be a lot of fun. And hopefully the bow's pretty good. I need to find those tapes that we have from Montana, the Montana version. I'll put Joey name.
Yeah, I don't know why.
They're either in my car or right up here. So that's exciting. Gas makes really good strings, pumped on it, and you can pick them up at the bow and arrow shop if you're local.
I mean, they're probably one of like the the leading string companies out there.
I would think be leading, but I'm cost them.
Yeah, I'd have to. I don't know the numbers at all. But the only names I could think of that are like your like commonplace names or gas are the A8 or the
AEB, America's Best. Those are like the only two I know offhand. Unbound, obviously, which I ran for years. Really good strings, good people too. But yeah, excited for a change. Been running Unbound for a long time. Nothing bad to say about those guys at all or the product. But excited to just try something different and have a good run over at Gas. That's
and he knows
pretty exciting.
Unbound.
Yeah.
He knows Eric very well, the president of Gas. And so he was pumped for it too.
Yep. Yeah. It was awesome. And then, filmed that video, so that'll be coming out soon. And yeah, we've been doing once a week uploads right now on the channel, every Sunday for the last only really the last week. And then I think I'll probably do 1 to 2 more weeks of once a week and then go back to twice a week. So pretty great output this year. Proud of that. Also, this episode, as always, sponsored by podiumarcher.com. Use code PUMPSTATION to save 10% across the website for most products. And yeah, what else do you got? You're full of new things.
Yeah, new things. No, I think I'm very excited for I know we've talked about it on and off throughout podcasts. As sometimes we just kind of give updates of what's going on in the pods, in life and whatnot. But excited for the Florida trip. So like a form of, you could call it hunting, but it requires a fishing license. So it's not necessarily hunting. I guess it's fishing, but you don't use fishing poles. Scalloping. Are you any expectations or thoughts of how, like, what are you thinking about it? Like how it is or how it works? Or...
I'm excited. I mean, I first of all, I love swimming. Like I really like swimming. And I'm excited to just kind of wade around and look for these fish. I think water will be warm.
Fish.
Or whatever they're called. Scallops. I'm excited to be just floundering around, catching some rays, looking at stuff. Probably have maybe a couple Monica Lepopskis on board. You can't have pops hunting. But swimming for a scallop, I think it's totally up.
As long as you're not driving the boat.
I'm not going to be driving the boat. We got big Captain B-Rye.
Yeah.
We got Captain B-Rye up there, so yeah, it'll be good. But I'm really excited.
I gotta order him a captain's hat.
And then, we're gonna do a couple of videos out there with Britt. So that'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be a fun pod. Her idea.
Yeah, I don't think we should split.
It.
Very good idea.
Yeah, and it'll be definitely something interesting.
We all gotta have like drinks with like little umbrellas in them too. Like,
yeah, but
I want like a floaty and be like floating around in the pool.
Yeah, we'll have to have the camera set to wide so you can just like zoom.
Oh, I'm gonna use that
as you're floating around.
I'm gonna use that wide lens and set the camera like
that. One might take a little more editing.
Yeah.
I think you kind of just gave it away.
No, well, I hope not, but yeah. So,
come on, up.
Life's exciting. Are you surprised at all by I just did a pod with the Hunter podcast guys, and
oh, yeah.
I don't know when it comes out. Maybe a couple weeks from now. You know how I said, like, I don't plan to wear a ring, and you're like, well, you have to wear a ring, and I said, I'll do the silicone one, the rubber ones. One of these dudes, I'm so bad with names. One's Jeremy.
Justin?
No, Jeremy and...
Dylan?
No, they're both with J.
Justin? Jared?
No, it's Jared and Jeremy. Jared and Jeremy. I don't know which one's which, though. I get them confused. But really dope dudes. My point is, one of them has no middle ring finger because his wedding ring got stuck on a tree stand and it ripped his finger off.
What?
And I said, yep, that's why I've been saying. So I'm doing a rubber ring, you bastard.
Well, you'll still be getting a real one.
I'm never going to wear it, so what's the point?
You will wear it.
I will not wear it.
You're not hunting 24/7. You're not climbing from ladders.
But I'm blue
You
collar.
ain't a blue collar construction worker, and you sure as shit aren't doing projects in the house. If anyone's on the ladder in the house, it's me. Okay? I do not want to hear it. And for the record, my dad has hung himself 3 times, I think, from his wedding ring off a ladder. He's still got his finger. So that's unfortunate, though. But you will have a real one, and you can have a.
I'm wearing my rubber one. It went. That's rare hearing me say I'm gonna wear a rubber, but I'm gonna. Rubber. Are we just being wild boys?
Yeah.
I'll be honest to you, too, real quick. Little tangent to the pod here. I was on my scooter session. I was hitting that line that I've been eyeing. I got that stair set easy. I almost just did it with no camera rolling. But just in case I eat shit, we need the camera rolling.
Do you feel any bit of butterfly tension, nerves, nervousness, as you approach that? Ever?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you hit a new big feature is kind of scary, but I've ridden up to that one so many times, and I know the speed's good, I know the gap's good, it's big, it
literally makes me feel sick just saying it and visually thinking about it happening, and it's not even me that's gonna be doing it.
I mean, it's a big drop, but every time I ride up to it, I'm like, that would have been perfect speed. For
the record, what he's discussing here is he's gonna ride into a 7-stair.
But it's not a long one.
Down.
It's more
very steep.
It's a steep, so it's more high than it is far, which I think is better. And it's I can kind of just coast off it. But here's the
trick. The landing's gonna be so hard.
No, because you're going pretty fast. You'd rather hit it faster than slower. So you're getting more.
But what if you land like you did that one time on just your back wheel, and then you're gonna do it with a helmet?
No, I'm not.
Yes, the heck you are.
No, that's not street.
I do not care. You could do a second time without a helmet. The first time you're wearing a helmet. The last thing we need is for you to land on the back wheel and eat shit backwards and slam your head against the boom, lights out right there.
Fine, I'll wear a helmet. But no, I feel good.
If you were biking like you back in your day regularly, I would feel confident in saying you don't have to wear.
Well, I always wear a helmet biking a full face. But that wasn't street, now I'm doing street stuff, so street...
Okay, no, you're not a street rider, you're wearing a freaking helmet. You get crazy.
But see, let me tell you, so the tricky part about the gap, and when I hit, I can't wait to post a line, maybe we'll go do it after this, I'll just go do it, is the gap, it has a squirrel catcher going into it, so you've got to jump up onto the curb nice, and then off. So, really, the sketchy part about the gap is not the gap itself. It's the squirrel catcher into the gap. Because you got to land it.
Oh, they might be having a wedding with no teeth. Yeah, you.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God. We'll get you some dentures before then. Yeah, well, we gotta set up a camera, though, just in case, because, sometimes you have not liked my street filming.
Your street filming.
Just in case I miss that gap. And, I basically gotta, get your footage of your couple of, other tricks. And then run to catch you.
You need to do it on your bike.
Yeah, I could do that. But we need to have a camera set up on a tripod, out there past you, on the bottom of the gap.
Yes, 100%.
So it's facing up the.
Mm-hmm.
So we have both clips.
Are you excited for Montana Tech? We'll already be back by the time this is out.
Yeah, that's what's funny. It was very fun. No, but we haven't done it yet. No, my knees are feeling much better now. The swelling went down pretty quickly after Hawaii. So, yes, in my blown out boot that I'll be hiking in. Any boot sponsors out there? We could really use one of those. I guess I kind of see how you blow your boots out so fast now. If you're going up to more places that are more treacherous than the rest of us choose to go out on socks on. But I'm like, I've done a lot of your stalks lately with you, like, so I'm not blowing my boots out. But maybe there's just some that I'm not going on that you're out there blowing them out on, because that's the type of stuff I can see how you blow boots out on. Like, you're just side hilling nonstop, and the feet are rolling over and stretching those seams and whatnot. So that was tough, and finally blew a set of boots out that I really did enjoy those boots a lot too. So it's unfortunate, but maybe hit up Danner for another set of test boots if they need some trial ones done. Because now I need a new pair, and I love trying their boots because it's, new ones coming out all the time, and you get to test them out, see if they work well. We put things through the ringer, you more so than I, but we go out on a lot of the same stuff. I think you were in like a la la land there for about 30 seconds just now, like just daydreaming out over here somewhere. Yeah, that was funny. But no, excited for Montana. It's gonna be a fast-paced trip. Not a lot of pausing throughout the trip and the days, because you want to get a lot of filming in, but it'll be fun. I'm excited for Joey to go experience a second tack in a new location. He had an itch.
Yeah, no, that'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be a whole heck of a lot of fun, and we'll hang out like a nice, fun bunch. A good group. Yeah, I was daydreaming because I was thinking more about my gap. It's been on my head. I think when I'll do it is between Montana and Florida. I'll do the line.
Yeah, but what if you end up having to get a cast and then you can't go swimming?
It's gonna be fine. I could go do it right now. If I. It's so the first. Here's the line. So it's a bar. It's a bar in 1 foot can the gap, the first gap, tail whip the long and low, break, hard 180 out of the fruit cup.
Fruit?
Half.
What the hell's the fruit cup?
I'll show you later. Fruit, and then I'll do a half cab 180.
You just see like a fruit cup on the ground, and so now you're done.
It's a feature. It's what a feature's called. So then I'm gonna hit the fruit cup 180 out, the back fakie, half cab out, then hit the roundabout, one scoot, jump up on the curb, air it off.
One scoot?
Just one scoot. Yes. That's the speed I need, just one push. Also, someone said that our pods can be longer if we want.
Oh, yeah. I do think so sometimes. I think we kind of glance over topics and don't really dive into them sometimes.
This is an edit. We're adding this into the podcast right now because we did a bit about the public land sale bill getting pulled and how to rally, but now it has been pulled. So we're going to replace that section of the podcast with a celebratory one because it's very exciting. However, it's not something to just forget about because they're going to come back with this in the future.
Inevitably it'll happen again. Yeah.
For sure. So it's good to just be prepared. And obviously this is why I say time and time again, strength in numbers is so important. Sure, it'd be great if you're selfish to have less hunters so you can draw more tags yourself. It's a very selfish, small-minded view. But it's better to have more people so that way when stuff like this happens, you have the numbers to combat it.
Yes.
It's called strength in numbers. Very important. So It's important to have a long-term vision.
For sure.
This is why guys like, that are promoting the outdoors, promoting hunting, promoting fishing are so important.
Yep.
Yes. It's more important to be loud and share than to be quiet, for example.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, this is gonna it's an edit. Well, first of all, let's tell people why I'm so wired.
I was gonna wait till the next podcast for that because this is just an edit into that one. So.
But anyway, you got anything else to add?
No. Yeah. No. I'm glad that it worked out. I'm glad that we. The community banded together as a whole, even though sometimes it's divisive and, just like any community, but banded together for what is right and what is better for land management, and made it happen and made the calls. So that's exciting. Just be ready to do it again and again and again, because once public land is gone, it's gone. There's probably once in a blue moon that you'll see land pulled to be bought back up to be federal, to become public land again.
Oh, yeah, that's not
The
happening.
likelihood of that is almost not at all. So once it's gone, and you're going to be, paying for not only your tags, but you're going to be paying people for the land to hunt on, and the animals to harvest, and it's just going to become this big commercial game, versus, what it should be, which is your right to hunt publicly. I think that should always be a right to have, and so I'm glad that people banded together to make sure that happened. So, we'll just keep on keeping on and keep up the good fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was very well said. Very well said. Also, I think that it's interesting because we're now officially in the back half of the year. It's July 1st.
Oh, yeah.
So we're in the back half of the year. Pretty exciting. How do you feel the first half of the year has gone thus far?
You want that to be on the edited portion or the new portion?
I don't know. What do you think?
Probably the new portion.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
I think that's basically going to wrap up this podcast then. I don't know where this is going to fit in the episode. It's kind of a hodgepodge.
But go check us out in the next one where they wear these exact same outfits,
yeah, we'll see
and do it again
in the next podcast. But anyway, this episode right here, sponsored by PodyMarcher.com and Badlands.com, both of which you can use, or BadlandsGear.com, both of which you can use the code teambd. You can also use Pump Station if you'd prefer, but teambd is shorter, easier to type in, and they'll save you money on both sites. In fact, I believe on Badlands it's pretty high, like maybe up to 20% almost, I believe is the code. So pretty high. And then on Podium,
maybe need to confirm that number.
well, I think it's different on some items.
Oh, dependent on the item.
I think so. But anyway, the code saves a lot. So BadlandsGear.com, of course, they have the craziest warranty ever. It's like an unconditional 100% lifetime warranty, which is pretty dope. Bino packs, gear, and obviously it helps us out a lot if y'all support them and use our code. So, new friend of the show, really excited about that. And then, of course, the Mohawk himself supporting the show as well. So code Pump Station or Team BD over there. And yeah, appreciate y'all. See you in the next podcast on Wednesday. Every Wednesday, 6 a.m. podcast drops. Subscribe, 5 stars, and we'll see you in the next one. But man, that last couple days, I was like, this is, I just wanted to be at the pool with a Mai Tai. You know what I mean?
Well,
I didn't have a least favorite. I loved everything about it. But yeah, snorkeling was bitching.
Yeah, it's difficult when you're in, like, say let's use Arizona for example, like when you are submerged in your hunt and like you're just in a BFE town, and so like your only option is to get up and go hike every morning to go hunting. It's not go hike.
You don't have anything.
Especially the day at the tiki bar.
Oh.
So I can see how you can get torn between the two, like the easy breezy vacation or go hike this treacherously steep cliff mountain in 85 degrees with 95% humidity.
We did get a few days of vacationing though, which I thought was nice.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to stick to it. That hike is much more doable, I think, if you were, not even for the temperature purpose. I think it's just that sun beating down on you, like, wears you out so fast. And so if you were to be able to do that hike, the first hour of it before you reach the base of that, you come out of the ditch and go up. If you were to do that in the dark in the morning, I think it would feel a lot better. Because then you're kind of doing gray light up the mountain, and by sunrise, you're chilling in your spot and you're cooling down. And you have more time up there. You're not exhausted. So I think if you were to do that, it wouldn't feel as daunting the next day, other than the fact that you still gotta wake up and decide tiki bar or get up at 5 in the morning.
Do you think I hear you on that. The tiki bar does sound.
Or are you about to do that thing where you just like ignore everything that someone says and move on to a completely random subject?
That was pretty close.
Yeah.
No, the tiki bar does sound nice. I mean, you're right. There's so much to do and options that it is tough. Whereas, like, a lot of times when I'm hunting, there is nothing else to do. So it's like, might as well just go hunt.
so
Which I love hunting too. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love hunting, but when you're in Hawaii, I think your mind kind of wants to be like,
on vacation.
where's the Mai Tai? Or where's the turtle? Like, you know what I mean? So I do think that's a dynamic, but
and it makes it kind of tricky because, like, a lot of what you can do in Hawaii is also go on hikes. Like, there's a lot of hikes to some really beautiful waterfalls out there. And you get up on a day that's meant to be a vacation and you're like, ow, my knees don't move. I don't want to move. Like,
I thought the botanical garden was cool.
yeah, and it was a pretty
Kind of small, but cool.
easy walk. Or you drive all the way up to the top section. But like wanting to hike out to a waterfall was not on my to-do list for vacationing because of doing the worst hiking for hunting. So you kind of eliminate some of your options of things to want to do. At least in my case with my knees. Now, if you're like, you know, I mean, it takes a pretty good beast to like get up the next day from that and just be like, yeah, I'm fine. That wasn't hard at all. I don't know too many people who would hike up that and say that wasn't hard at all.
No.
I don't know if I know anybody.
So what I was gonna say is, seeing that we're coming up on the last tack of the year, I'm sure there'll be some new video concepts in there. Maybe some that don't even have a concept. They're just a vibe. But maybe we'll do one of those. Those are fun. I do want to do the playoffs again. I really want to do the playoffs again. And I would like to get a fifth person. Even maybe 6. But for 4 to 6 people. Do you think you can make it past the first round in your second try?
What?
Here's your guaranteed competitors. Me, Joey, Rebecca, and then we don't know. There could be 1 to 2 more. Do you think you can make it out of the first round of playoffs this go around?
I would love to say yes. But and it's nothing against my sight or glaming equipment, just as sights get used and abused, my screws are all, you've seen it, Joey's seen, they're all pretty well stripped. Like, I don't think a lot of things are staying in place as easily as they would if, you know, the sight was in good condition. So even with taking it off for travel, I did just beat it through a mountain. There was one day I remember literally, and I did not have my sight saver thing on. So I was just like putting it down and using it and my hand to like push myself up the rocks. That one day that we ran into the goats and you were like, we just need to get in our spot. And you went on and I'm like with my feet to try to get up the cliff. I don't know if it's in a good tuned position or not, but I suppose when we get up there, I can't do anything about the first course of the morning because we got to be out there at 6 a.m. But maybe in between, I could just take it over to gas and do a quick little, you know, look-see and see if it's good. If it is good, I have some confidence I could at least get to the second round.
All right. I love it. I would love to see you go deep.
Yeah.
Into the game.
Thanks for following that.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I'm trying to defend my World Series title.
Now, what do you think, though, of my potential switch to a new site?
Yeah, I mean, I think, if it's something that you think would help you and be more consistent or even more confident, then I think it's great. I think that confidence is a big piece of anyone's.
Well, I'm confident with my site, regardless, just if it, maybe if I replaced all the screws and it was holding in place. But I love my sight. Never had any issues with it, like, up until recently with, like, travel. But just being that we're about to do some things with bows and whatnot, it's like, why not? Try it all out till
You do
find
love
what you like.
you do love to try different things. Me, I'm like, just plug the same thing in, and I know.
Plus, there's so many options out there.
Well,
It's like test driving vehicles. You got to find what works best.
I think that if there's anything that I've proven about this, ironically, then my boat called it proven, but I think if there's anything that I have proven about my setup, like, and I'm not saying my setup, whatever, I mean, I think it's great. I have definitely proven that it is the most durable setup there is. I mean, I throw that shit, drop it all the time, it falls over all the time. It never gets bumped. I ain't bumped my sight in 20 years. Meanwhile, everyone bumps their sight all the time.
Yeah,
So
but
my
other
sight
than
must be
your
durable.
stripping out issue.
No,
your sight
I'm
is
talking
durable.
about my setup as a whole is just runs and works. You know what I mean? Like, how often you see me go to a shoot and it's like, all like, oh, I must have bumped my sight. Like, you never see me say that. It just runs, bro. It's so. Shout out to Black Gold. I mean, yeah, sure, they strip here and there on the scroll, but I think they redid the mechanism on this one, so I'm gonna see. But outside of that, which is like either it fails or it doesn't, it never gets bumped, ever. You know what I mean?
On that,
I ain't bumped one in 20 years, so.
that is phenomenal.
And then same with, like, my bow never out of tune, my rest never moves, like, I don't understand. And I'm rougher on my bow than probably anybody.
Oh, for sure.
That thing looks like a
Yeah,
war
I
girl.
wouldn't say any of my other stuff though is other than
I am
my
pissed.
time.
I'm pissed.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, that was out.
I have to go get ready.
For what?
I have a date. I have a date.
With a man?
It's not important. We don't have to tell people that. We can let their imaginations wander.
Yeah. Are you gonna bring me back any dinner?
Probably not.
So I can order Uber Eats?
No.
Yeah, you get to go on a date. I get Uber Eats.
Whenever you get a job, you can get Uber Eats again.
Oh.
Yeah. By the way, if anyone is hiring, hit up your girl over here.
I'm gonna continue to be picky, but I think
And also,
I think the right thing will come.
Oh, of course, good things come with
Those who
time.
wait.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate everyone tuning in. This episode was kind of a roller coaster. Make that phone call. Numbers down below. Code Pump Station, podiumarcher.com. Be sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel. And let us know down in the comments if you'd be interested in somewhat crowdfunding the wedding. If you are interested, we'll do it. I think it's kind of a fun idea. And then, yeah, shoot, I don't know. Just keep fighting the good fight. Everyone have fun, and we'll see you in the next one. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Toodles.